Hey, what's up, guys? Dan here. Um, hmm. Well, suppose I'll talk about the Titanfall beta. I managed to get into it through a combination of black magic and Jesus. I managed to get in, and I played a couple matches. Got all the way to level 14. Level 14, I guess in the early beta, I guess they increase or decrease the requirement or increase the amount of experience you get. I don't know, one or the other. Um, I managed to get in, managed to hit level cap. I think you could do it fairly quickly. I mean, it felt like I was leveling up like every other match. One match per level in the first maybe five. Depends if I was doing well or not. Um, but hitting max level was easy, and then there's a bunch of challenges to unlock various attachments for the various weapons. It came down to what the game felt like. And I know a lot of the guys who used to work on Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 worked on this game, and it definitely shows. I mean, it basically feels like Call of Duty with double jumps and wall runs, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, for me, because we've been playing a lot of Call of Duty games, we've all played at least Call of Duty once, and they've had a lot of sequels since Call of Duty 4 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It just feels like the gameplay it's still Call of Duty. It's nothing new, it's nothing revolutionary. It just, the added dimension of double jumping and being able to wall run changes that dynamic a little bit, but it still feels like a Call of Duty game flat out. And because of that, I had like the feeling that the gameplay felt really shallow. Like, the double jumps were nice, being able to scale any building was nice. Building up a lot of momentum, which is actually a really good feeling when you can wall run and hit different walls and you go really fast across the map. It ultimately, because the guns is a big part of the gameplay. It felt really shallow because there wasn't any variation. The variations came from the attachments, but overall, everyone had the same gun. Everyone had assault rifles, submachine guns, shotguns, snipers, three different types of pistols, which was a standard pistol, an automatic pistol, and a smart pistol, which is really hard to use, but I feel like in the right hands, it would be absolutely devastating. And they also had in-game an LMG, but the LMG was only available through a burn card, which is, one off, one spawn, you get either, improved wall running, wall hacks, what else? Pings on your radar so you can see people through walls, but it would happen like it felt like every 20 to 30 seconds you would be able to see through a wall and you'd be able to see grunts and the creeps that spawned in. And every gun had its own version of a burn card, so you got a more powerful version of the assault rifle, the submachine gun, the shotgun, which became an automatic shotgun, which is just deadly. And then the sniper also had explosive rounds, plus the Titan weapons, well, the anti-Titan weapons, which ended up being just if I'm not mistaken, was a submachine gun with explosive rounds and a lock-on rocket launcher. Now, I'm assuming because it's a beta, it didn't have every weapon that they want to put into the game. Because all these guns, they were really good. You used them properly, they were fantastic. The the assault rifle felt really good. Submachine gun felt really good. This shotgun was a one hit kill at close range. Two, a little bit further back, and you can even pick people off with it if you knew what you were doing. Sniper rifle was kind of weird for me actually, because I expected, I don't know, it just felt weird to me. I'm not a sniper, it just felt weird. The pistols were good. The standard one, the regular one was good. The automatic felt really strong, kind of like PP2K from Modern Warfare 2. I think it was a PP2K. It felt like that gun. And then the smart pistol, which is a pain in the butt to use, but if you can use it, you'll wreck people with it, especially if you use the burn card version of that, because it tracks people quicker and locks on quicker. And then the LMG was the LMG. Unfortunately did not get a burn card, but I know that it was available through a burn card, so I couldn't test that gun out specifically, but they all felt good. They all felt like they filled a role. It's kind of weird because I feel like they held back a bunch of guns, but at the same time, all they're gonna do is just add variations to the assault rifle, the submachine gun, the shotgun, the sniper, and I don't know if it'll unbalance the game because Modern Warfare, well, not Modern Warfare, because Call of Duty has that habit of adding a bunch of guns, and clearly a lot of guns shine, and then a lot of guns just kind of fall off because they're the way they're designed or the way they're coded, they just don't work properly. So it's kind of hard to see if they'll have maybe like, 5 more assault rifles, 5 more shotguns, 5 more everything, and I think it'll unbalance the game. But from what I felt, the gunplay is very Call of Duty-esque, aim down sights, hip fire, blah 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 blah. And then also within the beta, there was only 2 maps. They felt, they were sufficiently big because you had to spawn in Titans. One was a very open map, outside, very outdoorsy. Bunch of center buildings. I believe it was 3. And then the map was very circular, so you could do laps around it. You'd cut in, go around, go back out through the outside. And then there was one that was in a city, and I felt like I had more fun in the city one because the maps, it felt like the maps flowed to the center and then flowed out again. So like you would spawn, obviously you'd spawn on opposite sides. You could wall run very quickly to the center. You see where people are coming in, you can pick them off, or they pick you off, depending on how good or bad you are, obviously. It just, in that one, because there was a lot of buildings, Titan gameplay felt a little bit more claustrophobic. It felt like, you had to hold on to your dashes, you had to pay attention to who's locking onto you because there's a lot of buildings. I believe I had way more fun on that map because the bigger map, it was very easy for the other team to get maybe 3 Titans very quickly, and then the other team would just get stomped on. And that mainly has to do with the Titans. There was only 1 Titan in the game, and it had different loadouts. It had a quad missile launcher, a machine gun, and I believe it was called a 40 millimeter. Don't quote me on that. It was a cannon shot, so it was a single shot, did a lot of damage. Not the greatest at picking off pilots, obviously, because it was a little bit more precision shot, and pilots can, jump around the map like crazy. The Titans, they also had abilities. They had kind of like a magnetic field where everything in front of it, where it was holding its hand out, would get stopped. So it'd be like bullets, rockets, and it would fling it back after a period of time, or if you ejected it early or whatever. It also had what we call electric smoke, which was in case someone tried to jump on your Titan and try to hijack you, it would shock them and kill them. It's kind of weird because I didn't think there wasn't much of a counter for the pilots, because once someone jumped on my Titan, and it happens all the time because in the game gives you a warning that you got someone on you. The second you ejected the electricity, it felt like they couldn't escape it. Like once it vented out of the Titan, they were dead. Like there was nothing they could do to avoid it. And I figured out that when people were embarking on your Titan, they don't immediately just jump on. They jump on and perform an animation, and the animation is they're removing a panel to reveal like some critical spot on the Titan, and you're locked into that animation as far as I can tell. One time I tried to remove it, stop the animation or get myself off of it. I don't remember ever being successful in being able to get off of it, but I just remember being locked into that animation, and I realized that the game, the Titan tells the pilot or the player that someone's on you. You vent it, and they're still stuck in animation, and they just get shocked to death. So it's effective counter to other players or other pilots trying to, disrupt your Titan, and it also is effective against other Titans because if they go into the electric smoke, they take damage. It just felt like there was no actual counter to that, so it was really weird. So there's no reason for me to ever take the magnetic shield because it was a little bit gimmicky, and the other one was just far too powerful, in my opinion. 2 other Titan abilities I wanted to mention was basically auto ejection and nuclear detonation. Those 2 are on different perks, so you can run both of them. I believe there's also regen and one other ability, but I never used them because I never saw a point. Auto ejection is a get out of jail free card. You'll always be ejected 100% of the time. I don't know if a melee strike from another Titan will pull you out. I'm assuming it doesn't, but I don't know because a lot of people don't seem to use melee when they're on in Titan, and I don't know why, but they just don't seem to use it. And then you combine that with the nuclear detonation, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a martyrdom. It'll always explode. So basically use them combination. Damage. You're taking too much damage. Your Titan is doomed. Start heading towards an enemy. You'll always be ejected, and it'll always set off the nuke. I felt like that was a little bit silly to have them on opposite perks. You know, like I guess tier 1. I think it was tier 1 and tier 2 abilities. They should probably be on the same tier so people can either choose between having a nuclear explosion or being able to be ejected. Not both. Otherwise, it feels kind of cheap, in my opinion. One other feature I'll talk about in this game, well, rather the beta, was the inclusion of bots or creeps in the game. Now, anyone who's ever played Dota or Dota 2 or League of Legends or any other MOBA game knows exactly what a creep is. They're little bots that spawn and you farm in those respective games gold. This game, it shaves off time off your Titan respawn. Now, the amount of time you actually get shaved off is maybe about 1 to 3 seconds per kill. Some are worth more, some are worth less. Anywhere between 1 and 3. The problem is pilot hits and kills and Titan hits and kills are worth way more time. They're worth like 22 seconds, and I think a kill is worth like 30 seconds. So, in theory, you can kill a bunch of pilots and get your Titan instantly respawned if they manage to be grouped up for whatever reason, like if they're taking an objective. So, they're just kind of hanging around the map. They don't really do much. It feels like they're fighting their own little war because when you look at them, they are robots, but like they're not very dynamic. They're just kind of, they'll actively let you walk up to them and kill them. Like, some of them won't even fire at you. I'll chalk that up to being a beta, but if that's the way they ship in game, it's terrible, actually. There's no reason to include them other than the fact that it just gives you something to shoot at in between trying to find another pilot, which is another part of the game that I felt was kind of weird, is that it was very difficult to find pilots sometimes because of their active mobility. They were able to hide and they were able to, run away from you fairly quickly if they were wall running. But being able to find a pilot or get a lot of kills was very rare. It was very easy. Very easily you could have went in a match 3 pilot kills, 2 Titan kills, 22 creep kills, and like 1 death, and that would be a good score. So it's kind of weird because the maps are so big, and pilots are so fast. It's very, very difficult to get a high body count unless maybe you're playing maybe like domination or whatever they called it in this game. I don't remember. If you're playing attrition, the game feels very, very sparse in terms of actual player-on-player combat. That's not to say you'll never fight another pilot, you'll never have a good fight. It just feels like if you don't want to engage in a fight with another Titan or another pilot, you never have to. Because of the inclusion of the creeps, you can basically, well, in any Call of Duty game, this is the way any game match ends up happening. Each spawn on opposite sides, you meet in the middle, and you flow, and the fight goes around the map. In this game, it's very much the same. You meet in the middle, you start to fight, and it flows around. In theory, because of the inclusion of creeps and other stuff, well, only creeps, you can stay at the back of the map, farm, and then spawn in your Titan, send the Titan in to do your work because it'll do it for you, and then you just continue avoiding combat. And because of that, it feels like you never have to fight, and you can get like 40, 50 creep kills and still have the highest score in the game, which I think is bad. So ultimately, here's my opinion on the beta. The beta was fun. I enjoyed myself very much. The problem is the gameplay feels about as deep as a Call of Duty game with Titans. The gameplay feels very similar to that. You include wall running and wall jumping and rodeo attacks on Titans. It's very, very different. But at the same time, because of the inclusion of only one mech, it felt very, very sparse. Like it was like there's no variations. But it was because it was a beta. I kind of gave it a pass on that. It was very fun. I enjoyed it. I'm probably gonna pick up the game, but it's not gonna be anything groundbreaking or anything like you've never played before. But it's certainly gonna be fun. That's all I can say. It's that the game is gonna be very fun, very enjoyable, and when Titanfall 2 comes out next year, it'll be that much better.